Yeah. Oh God, pressure's on now. I'm trying to think of a funny snippet you can use for the start of the podcast.
I think if
You're gonna use this, aren't you?
yeah, I might. I think
10.
if we're trying too hard,
Yeah.
then we just take the worst bit, and just throw that in there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Overcast Gamer Show. Overcast Gamers gaming and New Zealand-based podcast, everything from Bomberman to Briscoes. I'm joined by
Regan Harper.
1 to 3 p.m.
1 to 3 p.m. We'll get into that in a little bit here. How's you guys, fortnight and a day been? Because we're recording one day late due to a lawnmower and a belt sander.
Yeah, I guess that's the result of it being a nice weekend here in Wellington.
Yeah.
For once, yeah. And then we got into Monday. They promised us a fine day, and it was shit.
Oh man, you can't trust those meteorologists.
No, you can't. Not one
It's all right
bit.
now. It's not exactly fine weather outside, but what I'm looking at right now, looking out the window,
Yeah.
it is the quintessential depiction of Wellington City right now. It's that kind of, you can see on the horizon that the sky is meant to be a light blue, but there's just so much cloud over it all that everything is just completely cast in darkness. It's quite special.
Good old Wellington. Doesn't it just make you feel like you're at home, But to answer your original question, Abe, it's been a good week. I actually haven't played too many video games.
Again.
Reagan. You gotta get on it, man.
Commitment to the cause.
Some time inside. Pull those curtains and get into it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think what I'm trying. My issue is that I'm trying to spread myself too thin. I'm setting goals and things, and that's not good for for gaming. So I might have to cut that out. And just
you should set some in-game goals. Run 14 in-game kilometers in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm working on the trophies for Horizon at the moment. So
nice. We can get into that as well. For now, Balthazar, do you want to tell us what happened with you and Bargain Box in the last fortnight, man?
Well, we didn't have a tiff or anything like that. We're still, very much in the honeymoon phase. Yeah. But they only done and forgot my name. Well, they didn't forget my name. There was a minor mix-up in the message they sent out. It was actually yesterday morning. I was scheduled to receive my Bargain Box meals for this week. Yeah. And it's supposed to arrive at 1 to 3 p.m., but the little algorithm that they obviously used to generate those messages got the time and the name fields the wrong way around. So the message said, "Hi there, 1 to 3 p.m. Your Bargain Box delivery is scheduled between Balthazar."
That puts that intro in so much context. That's great.
Yeah,
and
it sounds like they're addressing you by the name of a character in NieR Automata.
But no, it was, they caught the mistake pretty quickly. It was less than an hour later when they sent things saying, "Oh, apologies for the mix-up. Just to clarify, your Bargain Box delivery is scheduled for 1 to 3 p.m.
As though you wouldn't have figured that out. Hang on a second. What time of the day is Balthazar?
That's not my name.
Ridiculous. And it's interesting because after you sent that to me, I had a good chuckle, and then I went on Reddit, had a look on the New Zealand Reddit, and someone else had posted exactly the same thing. So they've done this to at least, I would say, maybe thousands of people. I'm not sure how many customers they have, hundreds if not thousands. So absolutely hilarious.
Do they send them out the day before it's due to arrive, kind of thing? And because my question is, do they stagger their deliveries across the week?
Sure, no. So it's a dude, a Bargain Box dude in a shirt, just pulls up in a van.
In a van.
And he offloads it off the back and brings it to your doorstep.
Probably sent that shit to every single one of their customers.
Yeah, I reckon they probably did, because I've worked in the sector that does those sort of automated direct messages, and I know exactly how this has happened. So you get a CSV file with all this data in it, and it has what's called tokens. And if you don't match the tokens with the right fields, this is what will happen. Someone's obviously put all the names under the date, the time field, and vice versa, and this is what happens. Like you've got to check your CSVs, guys. I mean, we still love you, Bargain Box, but man, that was a colossal fuck up.
That's great. What's the food been like this week?
So the week just gone, I gotta say, not the strongest week.
Oh really?
There were some there were some great things in there. But I want to say, what was it? What was the meal? It was some pork stir fry thing that because of the volume of ingredients they put in and the lack of any sort of cohesion between those ingredients, it felt like on Tuesday you were having the week's worth of leftovers, is what the meal was. Pretty much. It very much felt like a Sunday dinner, like you haven't done the shopping in a while, let's just grab everything, chuck it into the same bowl, and just fry it up kind of thing.
The Bargain Box chop suey.
Exactly, and that's what it was. And so that one was not great. And then Bargain Box have this thing, they're trying to, I think it's New World they're affiliated with, and New World is trying to bring back cabbage.
Everyone's favorite
single Bargain Box meal has cabbage in it, and I hate cabbage.
I reckon maybe it's just that time of year. It's the because they try and keep it seasonal, right? So they're just maybe it's the cabbage time.
But yeah, I always just remove the cabbage from everything.
I mean, cabbage has been out for a while, right? I don't eat cabbage. I don't. Yeah. I mean, maybe in coleslaw, KFC coleslaw or something like that, but it's not a staple for me. Why would you ever seek out cabbage? That's bizarre.
And it's super weird because all the meals that have cabbage in them, it's almost like they're using the cabbage in lieu of lettuce. Like every meal it's with is a meal that I would have lettuce with.
Like a burger with cabbage on it.
I've not had a cabbage burger yet, but that is, I wouldn't be surprised if that's in
tomorrow's dinner. That's tomorrow's dinner. For sure.
Cabbage has got sort of a bitterness to it, though. It's not weird. Great. Like it wouldn't be a replacement for lettuce. Say like a lovely ham sandwich or something with some lettuce. Chuck some cabbage in there. You're going to be thrown up.
And they encouraged you to Friday's meal was pizza party. Now you can't call it a party when there's two bases. That's just pizza for two.
wait,
it's just two pizzas. Two bases. Yeah, so it's just two pizza bases. That's not a pizza party. That's just a pizza each for two people.
I see what you mean. I thought that's all they sent you was two pizza bases.
And I assume they mean that the party element was that you can, just mix and match all these different ingredients. And they sent ingredients specifically for the pizza, but then they also said, you're bound to have leftovers from your other meals. Why not chuck those on as well? And I just looked at the leftovers and went, yeah, a fuck ton of cabbage. I'm not putting cabbage on my pizza. Stop trying to make me eat cabbage for every meal of the day. So,
oh, man. Yeah, maybe they're trying to get you onto the Korean diet. I think Korea uses cabbage quite a lot in their cooking.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I mean, one thing, this week's, I think it's some lamb meal or something in there. I was having a look through the recipes. That's Julian's pick, and it's got a picture of Julian's grinning mug on the recipe because you really want to eat the food picked by other people, and it's the kid from the Wilder People.
Oh right,
yeah.
Because he was on the ads, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sold out fast.
Yeah. And the thing that gets me about Julian, clearly based on the recipe, is Julian doesn't like his vegetables because the meat is on the rice and then the vegetables are in a separate bowl on the side. So clearly he doesn't want them touching the actual meal so that he can be like, "No, I'm done." After eating the main bit.
Can't quite fit that pile of cabbage in.
Yeah.
Julian hasn't got the old the pakiha pile going. I have a friend who's of Indian descent, and he refers to when white people just put all the rice and then dump all the curry on top of it. The pakiha pile.
Well, that's how you do it. What's the other way?
It's when you go out to an Indian restaurant or something, they always have the curry separate and the rice in different vessels.
I assume that's just because they couldn't be bothered. Because whenever I get it, I never go out and eat it in. I always take away. So I just assumed it was part of that. You don't package the rice with the curry. You put the curry in a plastic container and you put the rice in a different container. That's
how they do it traditionally. It's I think it's because they're not all gluttons like we are.
Yeah, so you can.
It's called efficiency.
We just assume we're going to eat the whole lot in one fell swoop. So we just put it all on one plate and then gorge ourselves till we can't feel or see anymore. So. But anyway, speaking of, homely pleasures kind of things, such as Bargain Box, I've been getting incredibly jealous in the last fortnight because on my way home from work, I saw something incredible. I come from a upbringing where we had lots of animals all the time. So moving to cities such as Wellington and Auckland, I haven't been able to have any sort of pets for years and years and years. So anytime I see a dog or a cat, it's a very exciting time for me. So I was cruising on home from work on my bike, on my motorbike, and I spied, as I was coming up a hill, one man. I want to say he was walking the dogs, but it was more like the dogs were walking him. He was walking 8 full-sized golden retrievers, 8 of these dogs, like this giant shaggy carpet just kind of moving up the street. Incredible.
Amazing.
I almost crashed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I just sort of watched and then realized, oh shit, I'm on a motorbike. I need to actually, keep my wits about
attention.
me.
Wow.
Yeah,
8 dogs.
8 full-sized golden retrievers. It was absolutely incredible. And then that just made me pine. I was like, why don't I have a dog yet?
That guy has fucking 8 of them.
Yeah, he's got 8 dogs. Just give one to me, bro. Just like balloons, just give them out. Like party favors, man.
It's amazing. I wonder if he has like a business where he walks dogs, or he's just like, no, I just fucking love me some golden retrievers.
Yeah, he might be a breeder or something. I don't know, but man, I'm dead jealous. And every time I go up that hill from now on, when I'm going home, I look out for him, because that just made my year. Maybe even like the last 5 years. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing.
If that guy's out there and he happens to be listening to the OCG show, pop us a message. Let Abe know he's keen.
Yeah, I'm in West Auckland, bro. Give me one of your goldies. We'll take very good care of it. I've got I've got a craving for some animals in my life, and I haven't had for years and years. So let me know. But let's talk about the first quarter of 2017. Let's talk about video games, guys, because that's what this podcast primarily is. Not entirely, as we've shown. Yeah, mostly. Quarter 1, 2017. Now, this has been an unbelievably good quarter, maybe the best quarter of any year that I can remember. So I've got a list of releases that we've had so far by month, and I'll just read them out to you guys, just so you get a sort of understanding of what we've had. I've kind of forgotten about some of these, but so January we had Resident Evil 7. That was pretty much the first sort of big one to kick things off.
Yep.
We had Yakuza 0, which no one's played yet, but I've heard is actually really good. You can recruit a chicken to be a real estate agent in that game. So I'm dying to play. Looks amazing. February we had NieR. Balthazar, you really, really enjoyed that. We had Horizon Zero Dawn, as me and Reagan have jammed that. Reagan's done a main review that's gone up on the site now, overcastgamer.com. We also had Sniper Elite 4, which none of us have played, but apparently is really good. Was been getting really, really good reviews. March, which is what we're into now, we had Zelda, of course, Breath of the Wild. 10 out of 10s across the board, including the review from Balthazar. Gave it 10, which you can also find at overcastgamer.com. Then we had
nice work on the plugs, Balthazar.
Oh man, I'm getting into it now. I'm chilling for all I can. We've also got NieR Automata or Automata. I'm still not sure how to pronounce that. Which came out a week or two ago, maybe something like that. We also have Mass Effect Andromeda, which I'm not writing off yet.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It may not be amazing, but there's still probably some sense of a game in there, something that can be enjoyed, if not the facial animations. We've got Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 remix, which is still to come. Reagan and Balthazar, you guys are both incredibly excited for those.
I'm pretty excited purely just because it's going to be nostalgic. Well, maybe not as nostalgic as it will be for Balthazar, but it's going to be good. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, next one I'm excited for, which is Parappa the Rapper Remastered, which is oh man, I might even review that. It's it's going to be a good time. Thimbleweed Park, which is a sort of return to point and click adventures from the guy who did Monkey Island, a really, really classic point and click developer, which I'm incredibly excited for. Although it's not on PlayStation 4, it's on Xbox One and PC so far. So I think my computer could run that one, being that it's pretty low res looking game.
Your computer's pretty low res though.
That's true. But I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Then now the final month for the quarter, which is next month, April, we have Persona 5 to kick things off. That's like really early April, which is insane. That's a game that people have been wanting for years and years and years. So that's huge. We've got Yooka-Laylee, which is my most anticipated game of the year, which I'm just absolutely chuffed for. That's 11th of April. We've got Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, which I played a little bit of the original Bulletstorm and quite enjoyed it. Has anyone else dabbled in Bulletstorm before?
Was it the one where you kind of hooked around and there was a lot of sliding on the ground?
Yeah. It's sort of like arcadey, blow the shit out of everything.
The one where you hooked around.
I've seen stuff. I haven't played it, but I've seen things, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of fun.
Things, man.
But it was alright. It was from a developer called People Can Fly, I think. I think that was their name. But yeah, anyway, that's coming out. Full Throttle Remaster, which is another one of those Double Fine Tim Schafer games, which I never played the original Full Throttle. It's sort of Day of the Tentacle-esque. So I'm intrigued by it, although Day of the Tentacle and things like Broken Age frustrate me to all hell. We've also got Outlast 2, which is a horror game, which I'm staying well away from. Regan,
I'll probably play that one.
You're probably the same.
I like the first one. It was free on PS Plus at one point, I think, so I played through the first one and then paid for the DLC because I really enjoyed it.
Oh, nice. Well, it's been banned in Australia, so we can, we can. Oh, wow. Hopefully, it does the same thing. It doesn't have it in New Zealand.
Probably be really good then.
Yeah. There's probably some sort of abuse to kangaroos or something in it.
There was a lot of wang in the first one.
Also got the final game for that April is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So that's the Switch upgraded Switch version of Mario Kart 8. So that's all in the first 4 months of the year, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty amazing. It's funny, and we'll talk about Mass Effect in a little more detail later. But the only point is really just like I think we're only. Like, I mean, obviously the animations and things are bad, but it's probably worse given the games that it's been surrounded by at the start of this year. You know, it's just like there's no excuse for shite. And
no, I feel sorry for things like NieR and even Resi 7 because they came out so early in the year. They've just been completely forgotten. I forgot half these games even came out before I just looked at the list. I was like, oh yeah, Resi.
I remember Balthazar sometime this week was like, I've already played like 10 out of 10 games, and we were like, okay, cool, you've played Zelda, but what's the other one?
Yeah.
I really can't remember. And then he's like Resident Evil, and we were like, oh, that came out.
Came out. Yeah.
It's gone.
It's a shame with a lot of them
everything that comes out is just sweeping the thing before it under the rug completely. So it's a good time to be a gamer, although it's getting a bit overwhelming trying to cram in all these AAA quality games. But yeah, interesting. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a few podcasts ago, I recommended some books about gaming, which I think at least one person contacted me to say, they're I enjoyed. It was Masters of Doom that they picked up, which is awesome. Which is a book about the two founders of the Doom series. I've got another gaming-based non-game to recommend, which is a documentary which I've been watching, documentary series actually, which is. It sort of follows the making of a game that I gave a 4 out of 10, Broken Age.
Did you give it 4 out of 10?
I gave it a 4 out of 10, man. I got so angry at that game. But the documentary is fantastic. It follows Double Fine Studios as they make Broken Age. Broken Age was a Kickstarter project, so they originally got, I think it was $2.5 to $3 million in Kickstarter backing for this game. And it's incredibly in-depth. It's probably the most in-depth documentary I've ever seen. It's 20 parts. Each part ranges from about 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on what they're covering. So it covers things like concept artwork. It goes from them getting the name. It goes through all the programming, rigging, everything. It just goes into every little bit, game jams and things like that. It's absolutely fascinating because it just feels like you're a fly on the wall of Double Fine Studios while they're going through this, everything from the inception of this game, and it's absolutely fascinating. I would highly recommend it. It's available on YouTube for free.
Oh, win-win.
Yeah,
Zero barrier to entry there.
It's awesome. I've watched about eight or 9 episodes now out of the 20, and I'm loving it. It's just one of those documentaries that you can throw on and just get completely immersed in. So it's very, very good, and I'd highly recommend people check that out.
Awesome.
But we'll move on to what we've been playing. Regan, you go first because I don't think you have too much.
No, well, I've had this weird week where I've managed to get myself addicted to watching YouTube videos of this old guy build motorbikes. So
great. We're back to non-video game related.
Yeah,
stuff.
but no, I'm just kind of letting you know what's been going on. And outside of that, gaming wise, I've just played a little bit more Horizon. Kind of going through and ticking off all of the things that I didn't. Like I dabbled in to do the review, but didn't really kind of get to flesh out properly. So going around and finding all of the collectibles, and there's one really cool set of collectibles in that game actually, which are the Vantages. So I'm not sure if you can
the big the viewpoint kind of things.
Yeah, that's the one. So So basically, you climb to an area where you can look out across the map of Horizon Zero Dawn in various locations, and you press a button, and then it sort of, in a kind of augmented reality type thing, shows you what that space looked like before the fall of man, kind of thing. And gives you a little like story synopsis kind of thing. And so those have been really cool. Been going through doing those and doing all the corruption zones and getting all the little like metal flowers and all those kind of things. So I'm just kind of ticking away those. It's kind of cool just to, once you get to that point in those open world games, you can just kind of go through the map and tick them all off and kind of disengage a little bit, maybe put a podcast on or something like that and just enjoy the I wouldn't say monotony, but enjoy that just process of ticking everything off. So
yeah, it essentially just becomes a sort of safari, right? You're just going through the world, just looking at how pretty everything is, and you can, as you mentioned, switch your brain off a wee bit.
Yeah, totally. And by that point in the game, after you finish the story, you're pretty strong. Like as we mentioned in the review, you're not like, you never feel overpowered in that game. You're still going to come across machines that can kill you in like 2 hits. But it has a good late game balance, I think, to make you feel like, I'm pretty confident I can take most of these things on, and you can just enjoy roaming around the world, versus suddenly stumbling into an area where there's 2 big like rock monster breaker things. I can't remember what they're called.
And rock breakers. Yeah.
And you're dead in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, those things are incredibly intimidating.
Yeah, massively. I killed a couple of them last night, and it took me probably a good 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I'd say. Like genuinely.
they're like Final Fantasy battles. They take like half an hour to 40 minutes kind of thing for these bloody. They're not even technically bosses. They're just massive adversaries that are roaming around the world.
Yes, but no, that's been me. Nothing huge to report on my side. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, I'll just mention about probably the last. We'll talk of Horizon, because we're pretty much done with it. I finished as well. I got all the viewpoints too, which is incredibly uncommon for me in an open world game. I don't really usually give it a toss about that sort of stuff.
Tick things off, Abe. That's amazing.
No, I actually I went around and I did all the bandit camps and I did all the viewpoints. So I was like, wow, this actually broke my open world fatigue for a while. It was very good, very good. Testament to the quality of that game. But Balthazar, what have you been playing?
So I've been dabbling in a few things again lately. Going back into a few of my staples a bit. I'm going to touch on one thing very lightly, because we talked it a lot last year, and I don't want to go back over things, but I do want to make a prediction, just because I like being able to say I was right when I was right. So I jumped into the public test realm of Overwatch a bit to try out Orisa, the new hero they're adding. She's a new tank. She's like a centaur robot tank with a Gatling gun arm, who can also...
As in has like a horse body?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And she can deploy shields and give a general power buff to everyone in the group and become unstoppable, which means she can't be kind of slowed or stunned or anything. So I just want to say, before it hits the live realm, the meta is going to fucking break. She is so strong and does the job for about 3 tanks in one, that there is going to be an Orisa on both teams in every single game for months to come. And if you don't have one, you've lost.
Wow.
So she needs nerfing, is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Or I'm more a fan of everyone else needs buffing. Why make something weaker when you can just make everything else feel stronger?
True.
Interesting.
So they either need to work on everyone else and bring them up to par with her, or they need to dial her back a bit. And there's going to be people out there say, oh, she's easy to counter if you do this. Yeah, but the average person doesn't fucking know that. The average person playing is just going to run at her with their gun, and she will win.
Yeah. I'm like that when I play Overwatch. I've played it for maybe like 2 hours all up in my lifetime, and they're super fun 2 hours. But it's like, I'll just go this guy. He looks like fun. He's got like swords and shit, and then and you just get smashed. Like, alright, cool. We'll go with this guy. There's no actual planning. I don't know. yeah.
And that's what Orisa will excel against you. And everyone like you. Yeah. But okay, that's enough of Overwatch. Though honestly, everything I've been playing is stuff we've gone over for. I've still been playing a hell of a lot of Zelda. That's still the main thing that's been taking up my time. Yep. You said, Abe, that Horizons seem to, for a time at least, break your open world fatigue, and Zelda is still doing that for me. I'm still not even slightly tiring of what it has to offer. And yeah, it's really interesting that I'll be exploring. Most of what I do is just exploring. I go to things that look cool, I check them out, I find some neat stuff there, and every now and again, I'll decide, I'll actually do something with some sort of guidance or what have you. So I'll slap on a quest or something like that. And I will, at this point in the podcast, I promised I would give a shout out to Ern from the Zelda stream that we did, where we saw the fire dragon flying in the chasm.
That was awesome.
And he said, shoot it with an arrow. And I said, no, I don't know what it's there for yet. I don't want to, potentially ruin something that may happen. I was meant to shoot it with an arrow.
Really?
By doing so, I get a scale, and it's used to unlock a shrine at one point. But at the same time, I'm grateful that I didn't shoot it with an arrow, because then I found out myself what it was for and kind of was like, oh man, I saw it and I didn't shoot it with an arrow kind of thing. Yeah. So that was cool. But Ern, you were right. I should have shot it with an arrow.
I think he'll be stoked with that, actually.
Yeah. So, the other thing, I've been playing, I always on the side play Final Fantasy 14. This doesn't really, ever stop, which is why I don't mention it anymore, because I'm always playing it. But something happened the other day which felt so much like Zelda, it reminded me why I am able to keep playing Final Fantasy 14, the same way that I'm able to just keep jamming Zelda so much. I'm well past the 100-hour mark now in it, and no sign of slowing down kind of thing. And I was standing around in a town, and all of a sudden a bunch of, I'd say maybe 40-plus people on mounts went riding past me, kind of kicking up dust at the mount's feet as they went riding past. And you've played a bit, Regan, so you may have noticed kind of when there's large groups gathered together or running together, there's kind of a general noise. It puts together like a crowd noise and everything. So they ride past you and go, "Rah, rah, rah," as this huge group rides past me, and then gets quieter as it goes off into the distance. And I'm like, what the hell was that all about? So I hop on my mount and I ride after them and ride out into the forest, and we all, the entire group, everyone in it, fucking annihilated by Odin, just walking through the forest, fucking shit up.
Odin just rocking around.
Yeah, and I've fought Odin before and I've beaten him, but I wasn't expecting it at that point, and he came out of nowhere kind of thing, killed me. But that is the reason why I'm able to keep playing 14 kind of for so long and keep going back to it, is that such a Breath of the Wild moment. One of the things I talked about in the review is how, there's all this stuff going on in the world that is just happening around you, and if you don't take the time to stop and notice it and go investigate it, so much cool shit happens and you would never know about it kind of thing. And I was just reminded of that same feeling and that same awe existing within Final Fantasy XIV if you bother to actually observe what's going on around you and kind of.
I mean, that would be a pretty big thing to overlook, eh? Like, where's this big fucking crowd of people going?
Huge crowd of people riding.
40 people. I keep,
at least.
Forgetting that you're playing an MMO, so each one of these people is actually a person.
A real person. So did they know that Odin was out there?
Yeah, and they were out there to hunt Odin, and they thought they were prepared, but they were not.
They got all fucked up.
Normally, when we beat Odin, normally you're talking a couple of hundred people. Wow. I'm guessing they were anticipating that more people were also in packs heading towards it kind of thing. Maybe they were the first to arrive, or maybe there were no more. But he destroyed us.
Man, I can't even imagine 100 people.
I don't think I even know 100 people in real life. That's insanity.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Zelda is still taking up the majority of my time. Something else that happened on the stream was, obviously, I got absolutely destroyed by those Guardians.
Oh, that's right.
Robot spider things that were shooting lasers at me. I now just destroy them, which is great vengeance.
Cool.
Nice.
Just turning around, I got the Master Sword, just run up to them, cut their legs off so they just are stuck there on the ground, like spinning around, trying to hit me with their laser, and I just run around them in a circle, like dragging the Master Sword through them as I run around them in circles.
Because the Master Sword, I remember you talking about this, is built for anything that's like Ganon, or
anything corrupted or controlled by Ganon. The Master Sword erupts with light and does bonus damage against them and doesn't lose any durability against them.
Cool.
So it's pretty much made for hunting guardians, which is great. And that's, as I said, no sign of slowing down there. That's going to be on the burner for a long time. So other than that, I've also been putting a lot of hours into NieR Automata, whatever you want to call it.
Do they ever pronounce that in-game?
No, they don't. No, they don't. And obviously we streamed that the Friday just gone.
We did, yeah.
And I reckon it's NieR Automata.
No, that's
definitely it. That's definitely correct.
Look it up.
And I love this game. So at first, you guys probably recall I said that I was enjoying it, but I didn't get how it was so well received. It didn't feel like a 85 out of 100 or a 9 out of 10 game to me.
Yeah, it's up in the 90s on Metacritic, I think.
And it didn't feel like that to me when I started playing it. And the reason is because it's a platinum game, so I went into it wanting a platinum game, and it doesn't do what other platinum games do super successfully, which is big, grandiose boss fights, basically. And this isn't the focus of this game. It does a lot of other stuff, and it does them really well, but bosses isn't one of the lead focuses. But something this game does is, I need to mention it. We don't do spoilers, and this isn't a spoiler. I will say this is not a spoiler, but it needs to be mentioned because everyone is beating around it, and hiding it is doing the game an injustice. And that is, if you have started playing this game, or if you are intending to pick it up or anything like that, when you get to when you finish the story for the first time, don't stop. Click start game, load your save file. The game is not finished. The game has not even begun.
Not even begun.
That is crazy. So there's a lot of hidden things.
Yeah, essentially. The developer, it's not even a developer thing, because it's the creator of the game, Yoko Taro, the dude who made this game, is insane. Because what he's done is he has hidden 2/3 of the game by presenting them as just start the game again and try a new game plus sort of mode, which means so many people are never going to experience it. They're going to go, cool, I've done my one playthrough, I'm still within the week I got it in, I might just return it. Or
surely not. People
do that. Or they might go, this game...
But if they have the game, like they know...
Doesn't matter.
Really? Is it...
I'd probably do that, Reagan.
Yeah.
Is it that hidden?
It's that hidden. Nobody's talked about it. But legitimately, we're not talking about hidden meanings, and if you replay, you'll have a better understanding of the story. The game should not end where it ends, because it's not the end of the game. It's not the end of the game. When you hit start game, you're playing chapter 2, and then when you finish that and you hit start new game again, you're playing chapter 3. You're not replaying the same story. You're playing a new goddamn story. So please do not just stop after the credits. It's not a spoiler. While they hid it, and by revealing it, you're essentially revealing something they didn't want to reveal, so are spoiling the fact that it's there. I'm not telling you anything about the plot. I'm not telling you anything about the evolution of the plot. I'm just telling you I have mad respect for the balls this guy has.
Yeah.
Because he has done what he's done. If you pitch that to an investor or a publisher, that's not going to go down well. Because essentially the news is you are concealing the game behind the guise that someone has already finished the game. Therefore, you're opening the game up to potential worse reception by people not experiencing the full
Maybe
game.
he's like, it's a plan to sell multiple copies. So someone goes out and buys a copy, they play it through and they go, oh yeah, I'm done with this. They go trade it in, then they hear online, fuck, I heard the OCG guys talking about, it's like there's a whole new game, and they have to go out and buy it again.
But yeah, I finished my first playthrough and I was like, I've heard it's different the second time, so why not? I'll start it again.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I was like, oh my God, it's actually different. And the second time is somewhat close to the first time, because it's essentially just a different perspective of the first story. But then it's like, oh, that was interesting. I wonder what perspective the third time will be presented from. And then the third time, no, that's not a different perspective. That is a whole new fucking campaign.
Wow.
It's a continuation from the end of the first playthrough. So essentially, they split the first act up into 2 separate instances of the act where you experience it from different angles. And then once you've experienced the full first half of the story, you get the second half of the story. But the game does not tell you that's what it's doing. It just tells you you've finished it. And like I said, I think that's insanely ballsy for the developers and the creator for putting it out that way. But I can't hide it. People need to know that's how it is so that they don't misjudge the game and only judge it on the first third that they're presented.
I'll tell you what, I knew this guy was batshit insane before this game even came out, because they released might have been the launch trailer or some piece of media around the launch of this game, where it's just, was it Takahisa Tora, however you pronounce his name. It's literally him. He says something about he's like, NieR Automata, shows a t-shirt, then he starts rolling on the ground going, NieR Automata, Square Enix shit. Like he actually says that. Yeah. It's the most bizarre thing I've seen, from a game developer in a long time. I don't know how they got to release that or what it means.
Absolute insanity.
But I was just like, wow, this is going to be something. This is definitely going to be something.
It hooked you in, right? Like, I guess that's the point. It was just like, what is going on there? I need to know. It's, yeah.
But yeah, this game is fantastic, and I actually think you would really enjoy it, even though you're not necessarily one for, hack and slash genre. There's a lot of really deep, insights into kind of human conditioning and stuff that I think you would really enjoy.
Yeah, that does sound like me. Awesome, man. I might have to go pick that one up. Anything else from you, Balthazar?
No, that's that's me.
That's everything?
Yeah. He's ruined the game for everyone now. He's ready to move on.
Yeah, spoiled it. Told you the ending.
No, he sold about 10 more copies, 8 more copies, however many people listen to this. Now, I've been playing a few things, so I'll quickly go over them. First thing, I picked up Psychonauts for about $6. It was on sale on PlayStation Store. It's still on sale, actually. I'm just having a look at it. So you can pick that up. Now, Psychonauts is a game I remember really, really enjoying. I think I played it on PC back in the day. I never finished it. I think I put in maybe about 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I'm not sure how long it is. Rebuying it on PS4, and it is PS4. This is a game that has not aged well, guys. Not at all. This is one ugly mofo game. The art style was nasty looking on PS4. It is really, really bad. It's not particularly fun anymore. The voice acting is like a children's cartoon show, a really obnoxious one from either after school or early in the morning. There's a lot of elements that make me not want to continue playing this game. I'm not 100% sure it's a good game. Maybe I just had some sort of rose-tinted glasses, or I didn't know anything about video games back in the day. I do like the core idea, which is that Psychonauts are sort of these psychic secret agents who can go into people's minds and do battle, by tampering with their psyche. That's a really cool idea. But the gameplay around it is just balls. not a huge fan of it. I played it for an hour or two in the weekend, and I had no desire whatsoever to play it. So
it's a shame. At least you only spent, what was it, $8 on it?
$6.
Yeah. The price of a Big Mac
expensive
combo.
Sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was trying not to mention my regular fast food outlets. That's my goal for this podcast.
Nice.
But the next thing, because I was so unfulfilled by my Psychonauts purchase, I went out and bought something else on PlayStation Store, which was also discounted, because I only ever buy discounted games. And that is Assassin's Creed. Now, before everyone's up in arms,
my arms are halfway out. My arms are at shoulder height.
I know. I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in years and years and years. The last one I bought, I'm trying to remember, might have been Far Cry 3? I'm not too sure. Anyway, the Assassin's Creed I bought was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because I've heard it's actually a pretty good game. Maybe not a pretty good Assassin's Creed game, but a pretty good sort of pirating and pillaging Sail the Seven Seas.
It's the best of the
game.
Assassin's Creed games,
cool.
Because it's the furthest
you guys
removed.
have both played this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, got the DLC as well.
What did you think of it at the time?
Did it have DLC to it?
It did, yeah. You were a black... I can't even remember. That sounds horrible now because all I remember is you were black.
You were black.
You were, and the reason I can get away with saying that is because that is how they referred to you in the game, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah.
You were a black, that was it. Like, it was during the times where the slave trade was still very much active. And you were, I don't recall if you were an escaped slave or if you were kind of liberated by the pirates.
Yeah, I didn't realize they'd done DLC because I remember there was that one and then the one where you played like the Welsh naval officer. It was basically came out at the same time. There was Black Flag and
the Rogue, was it?
Rogue, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Oh. So it's basically the same game, but instead of like the Caribbean, it's like the Northern Seas and it's all ice. Kind of thing, but yeah, I really enjoyed Black Flag. Like the first experiences of that kind of naval warfare was pretty freaking cool. Like,
yeah, I would say that's definitely where it's at its strongest when you're sailing around in the boat and stuff like that. I've done probably maybe the first 2 hours or something like that. So I'm in Havana, the starting city. And it, as soon as I landed and it was like, oh, you can go collect this or you can go do this. I was like, oh, here we go. It's just going to litter my map with about 1 billion icons. I'm going to get overwhelmed and never play it again. So I've kind of avoided doing a lot of the side stuff. I'm just kind of going through the story as much as possible so I don't scare myself off it.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's not bad. It's got a weird kind of grainy look to it, which I'm not too keen on. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I don't remember Assassin's Creed having that. Like, it's got a weird kind of film filter on it or something. So I'm not too. Yeah, don't know what's going on there. But
I don't recall that either. But
yeah. But I mean, I got this for $16, so I wasn't particularly.
Oh, that's a bargain. Like,
yeah,
anyone, even yourself, Abe. You're not a huge. Well, you're borderline anti Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft.
Pretty close to it.
I think it's $16. You can't go wrong really for that game. Like,
I thought so. I thought you'd get a lot of mileage out of it. It seems like a decent sized game. When I arrived in Havana, I was like, oh, this is an all right sized city. And then I looked at the world map. I was like, oh shit, how long is this game?
Yeah, I think they just it seems really big because it's interspersed with all that ocean.
Right.
And the reality is it's kind of probably what you'd expect in one of the other Assassin's Creed games.
Okay.
So it's all good.
That's cool. I've chased a few sea shanties around. I'm kind of enjoying collecting sea shanties because I'm treating it like a puzzle platformer at the moment. So I'm just like, oh, go collect these items. And like jumping around on the roof like a DK or a Mario kind of thing, collecting floating items. So that's how I'm getting through this one here. But yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. I'll keep playing it. It'll probably be my game that I'll play till Ukulele comes out, I think. But the last thing I wanted to mention, which I will be really brief with, is a browser game, which I don't think anyone's ever mentioned any sort of browser game on this podcast before. It's a game called, let me know if you guys have heard of this. It's called GeoGuessr. You guys heard of this?
GeoGuessr? No.
I've not heard.
So it's a game that utilizes the API of Google Maps and Google Street View. It pops you down in the world somewhere, literally in the world, and you have to figure out where you are. And the closer you guess to where you are on the map, the more points you get. I'm loving this game. This is awesome. I've spent so many hours on this game now. It's something that I play every now and then I forget about it, and then I pick it up. I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I love this game because it makes you feel like you're a forensic investigator or something. You deduce where you are by using your intellect, your knowledge from the outside world. I use things like if I see a Z in a word where there shouldn't, look like there should be a Z, I'm like, oh, I might be in the Czech Republic or I might be in Poland because they use Zs all the time. Or, the first thing I'll do is like, what side of the road is everyone driving on? Oh, okay, it's the left. There's only a few countries, including New Zealand, that drive on the left. So it might be Japan, it might be Australia, it might be New Zealand, it might be the UK kind of thing. It's awesome. It's really, really good.
It's a pretty cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a fantastic, and they've gamified it, which is the such a clever thing to do. So you get a score and you're like, oh, I want to do better next time. So you load up another game and you load up another game. It's so much fun.
It'll be one of those things like where in like 10 years' time you go on an OE and you're like, fuck, I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah.
You've been down that street on GeoGuessr.
Yeah, man. I just marvel at this technology. I still can't believe we can actually zoom in on streets and stuff. I'm becoming an old man incredibly fast. Technology's going way before me. But yeah, that's the last thing I've been playing. GeoGuessr, I would highly recommend it. Check it out. I would love to give these guys money if I can. I don't know if there's like a PayPal or something for them, but it's very, very good. So that's all I've been playing. So we'll move on to a few discussion topics now. This afternoon, Balthazar and myself started up a large conversation about Amiibos. So because we are recording one day late, the sort of chat and banter boiled over and we just started talking absolute nonsense. Amiibos came up, and as of the last half hour, I've bought 2.
I love it.
Yeah, boom, straight in the deep end, eh?
Straight in the deep end, man. I've caved immediately. I thought about it. I saw a Donkey Kong Amiibo, of course, come up. I was searching New Zealand auction site for Donkey Kong, paraphernalia in general, and this came up, and I was like, $15. Why don't I have that in my life yet? And I bought that one, and then I saw another one of Diddy Kong, and I was like, oh shit, that's I'll grab that one too. So
you've got 2 of the DK family now. So
2 of the DK family on the way.
Shit, son, that's the start, I would say.
It is. Yeah, this is the shallow end. Just wait till I'm drowning in Amiibos. It's a couple of months. This is the first thing I was saying to Balthazar. This is the first thing I've bought in must be like 5 years that is completely for aesthetic value. I'm such a pragmatic and logical person generally that I buy something that has function. This has no function.
Is it an actual Amiibo? Because that's the thing with Amiibos, right? Is you like scan them on a Nintendo device or whatever, and they give you stuff.
It's a legit right? Amiibo. They're both definitely Amiibos. They're from Super Smash Bros. They're the DK and the Diddy from Super Smash Bros. The only ones that were on there. So I was just like, I'll grab those. And now I want the rest of the Kong family. So I reckon I'll be on eBay bidding someone for Cranky Kong in no time.
How many people in the Kong people? How many characters are in the Kong family?
How many Kongs in the Kong family?
Yeah.
Man.
Dixie
Kong.
Put me
on the spot now. I would say at least
Donkey, 10. Diddy, Dixie.
We got Trixie, and then we've got Baby Kong, and then we've got Cranky Kong, and then we've got oh man, what I can't remember the guy.
King Kong,
the guy, Cranky's the man. The guy with the bandana from Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, and he flies planes around. I can't.
BJ.
Yeah, you put me on the spot, Reagan.
DJ.
I can't remember his name
DJ
off
Kong.
my head. There is some. I think there is a. His name's not DJ Kong, but there is a guy with turntables.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm well into this now. I think I'll start picking up the whole DK set.
Because you at Balthazar's place, he has plenty of these to the point where you guys have like dedicated shelves for them.
Yeah, we have to now.
Yeah, so you're probably going to get to the point pretty quickly, Abe, where you're going to need to purchase furniture to house these.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to build like a shelving. I'm gonna have to look up DIY, shelving casing and put it up on my wall because there's actually nowhere for me to put these things apart from that's gonna. If I put them on my chest of drawers where my TV is, it's gonna obscure my TV. So I don't know. I bought them without even knowing where they're gonna go. I just like
a decision you'll have to make at the time.
I haven't had that urge in so long. It's just like, I want this thing, this trinkety thing.
I'm totally with you though, man. Because I'm on the same like when we moved into our new house, my girlfriend was like setting out everything. You know how they do? They have all of their stuff. They open their boxes and they put them in the places that they have always dreamed of putting them. And
what do you mean by they, Regan?
Yeah, you know how they are.
Anyway, so and then she goes, "Have you got anything that you want to put out in the lounge? Have you got anything you want to put on the shelves?" And I was like, no, I literally don't have no, I don't have things that look pretty.
I just imagine you've got like an engine or something. It's like, oh yeah, can we put this on the coffee table?
Get some really ugly, gnarly piece of wood and just be like, this is my thing. Respect it. You asked me if I had anything I wanted to put there. Yeah. I want this there.
I'm just going to put that there next to your like genuine Greek pottery. You're happy with that, eh?
This is a genuine clay brick from the neighbour's yard.
Yeah, relationships are a compromise. They have to do it.
Yeah, totally. That's it.
It has to be done. It has to be done. So I just wanted to ask you guys in terms of Amiibos, just give me off the top of your head, what would a really good New Zealand Amiibo be? New Zealand themed Amiibo.
Ooh.
Does it still have to be Nintendo?
No. It can be any sort of New Zealand icon or whatever you think would work or not work, as the case is for New Zealand Amiibos.
I reckon maybe like they could do a series of Amiibos that feature the novelty town icons from around the country, so they can have like a carrot amiibo,
the LMP, Lemon Pyro,
Gumbo. They could maybe do a series of those. Perhaps.
Nice. I just love the idea of being able to scan a gumboot and suddenly become Monopoly.
I've got one that I think, if you were to ask me, of iconic New Zealand things, I would not state this because almost just out of deliberate intent to not mention it at all, because I don't really want to bring it up outside of situations in which I may need to bring it up. But I actually genuinely believe that, based on the fact that an Amiibo is a character, but it's a character synonymous with a thing, and that everyone immediately recognize and knows what it is, but that, as I said, it's still a character, so it needs to be able to have personality and all that stuff. I think the goddamn blue kiwi logo from a New Zealand auction site would actually make a really good Amiibo.
Yeah,
Kev the Kiwi.
Yeah, Kev the Kiwi. Would you want the original Kev the Kiwi or that new one?
The original.
Yeah.
The weird disjointed Rayman jelly bean would not.
Well, that's a lot better than my suggestion, Balthazar, which was going to be the Briscoes lady.
Brilliant.
She could take over the Wii Fit trainer, just reskin it to be the Briscoes lady, she hits people with a sale sign or something.
That is genius.
I tell you what, Abe, if that was on the shelf, you'd never buy better.
Nice.
Oh, good one. I reckon in that same vein, perhaps like a what's the guy?
Coxie from
Big is good.
Coxie from ITM. Yeah, the big is good guy.
Big is good.
Yeah.
The Mighty 10 dude. Yeah, he could be like a Donkey Kong type, like a tank character.
What about? Oh God, he's the name has slipped my mind. The guy who Peter, who did the Lord of the Rings films.
Oh yeah, Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. Yeah. Peter Jackson Amiibo. That'd be good.
What about Dominic Bowden?
Ooh. Yeah, no, he could have one. For sure. He's I mean, everyone knows who he is, and he's clearly carved himself out a niche.
Yeah. We could just have the anthropomorphized like Shorten Street logo or something.
Or the Tux Wonder Dogs.
That's an old school reference, man.
Yeah, there could be a Tux Wonder Dog Amiibo.
Or Mr. Foursquare.
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah.
Mr. Foursquare with the Moko though. The Moko version of the Foursquare guy with the Moko.
Yeah,
we got to retain it.
There's plenty you could make.
Oh, this is so good. We could do an entire podcast on New Zealand themed Amiibos and such. But I think we'll have to move on there. But if anyone, people, let us know what you think the greatest or worst New Zealand themed Amiibos would be, or Amiibos from your country. Amiibos that may represent or not the best and worst parts of your country. Let us know.
We're going to get some hilarious ones, eh?
I would love to hear them. But we better move on from Amiibos, unfortunately, because we could go on about this for days. Mass Effect Andromeda, guys. This is the hot button on everyone's minds. Man, this is turning into a No Man's Sky fiasco at the moment. The game hasn't even launched, and people are going apeshit about this game. Not in the good way either. So Mass Effect Andromeda, a few sort of GIFs and I suppose early footage and things like that leaked. The facial animations are pretty bad. They're not the worst I've seen, but they're very disturbing, let's say. There's an uncanny valley thing going on where it doesn't quite look human, and that's kind of a bit makes you feel a bit grotty. And people have just kind of been losing their shit. People have been making GIFs of these things, saying Andromeda is going to be garbage because there is some weird animations. There's an animation I've seen of a dude walking like a crab, which I
think I've seen that one too. Yeah, kind of.
BioWare has done fucked up on this one. I don't know what's happened here, but what do you guys think? Is this the internet overblowing this a wee bit, or
I think
is Mass Effect Andromeda going to be a pile of ass?
I think they're blowing it way out of proportion to just say things like the game is going to be garbage because the animations are janky, because I think the combat still looks like it's going to be pretty fun. But what I will do is harken back to a conversation we had a while ago when the reviews started coming out and people were saying they love it. Again, just to say I said that. I said that before it became apparent as a thing.
Hey, when it was your most anticipated game, Balthazar. Let's not forget that either.
It absolutely was. That's why it does pain me that it looks like it may be less than, an 8 even. But what I did say was after the preliminary previews were coming out, that all of them, while they mostly noted that they enjoyed what they were allowed to talk about with the game, they all felt like they were dodging the same topic and that we didn't know what that topic was yet because it felt like something was under embargo and they weren't allowed to talk about it. And then all of a sudden the embargo lifts and everywhere it's just, oh yeah, the animations suck.
I wonder if in the embargo notes it was like, okay, team, do us a solid and don't talk about the animations
or the facial. Just don't mention it. But and it is funny that literally everyone is just, it's the animations, because I said when the prelims came out, I was like, it really feels like they're all trying to avoid one major topic and that it's the same topic they're all avoiding, but all the previews read as though they're trying to dance around a fact that they're not allowed to talk about. And that I was hoping it was just, my mind playing up and I was being too pessimistic about the whole thing. But no, lo and behold, 3 days later, the embargo lifts and this nonsense starts straight away. So
yeah. I would bring up that. Do you guys remember that bizarre Horizon Zero Dawn early footage that came out, and everyone was, oh, it's going to be a pile of shit because there was some weird looking marionette type NPC with terrible voice acting. And granted, he is in the game. I remember because I took note of when I found him. I was like, you're the one who almost ruined it for everyone. But that was a tiny, tiny part of that game, and I forgot about it almost as soon as it happened. So,
and they say that in terms of the things that I've seen about Mass Effect, the animations for basically, because there's not just humans in that game, there's other races and things, and all the animations for the other races are spot on. It's just that we just don't know what an alien race is meant to look like, so we just accept it. But I guess because humans are so finely tuned to reading facial expressions, it's just oh, there's something not quite right there. I think it's the way the eyes dart about all willy-nilly.
It is the eyes. Video games struggle to get eyes right. I think the only one that's really done it really well is Uncharted 4. They nailed it. They absolutely nailed it.
They really did. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, I suppose. I don't think there are any planned patches to deal with it or anything like that, but I don't know. I'm hoping the rest of the game is not awful, and that's just the one thing. It's kind of a shame. It would be a shame to think that they're just some mildly janky animations are going to ruin what otherwise could be an okay game.
It is unfortunate that's what it is, though, because Mass Effect games have always very much been about developing relationships with individuals within the game. So if you can't really feel like you're connecting with any of them because every time they talk or every time they look at you, it just, it's just horrible. Then that it really is it's undermining a fundamental aspect of the game. So it really is one of the worst possible places for it to drop the ball, really.
That's fair.
Well, Mass Effect is essentially a game about how many people you can bang and how many aliens you can bang, really. I mean, Balthazar, you used a good euphemism for it, in that developing relationships with people, but it's a giant fuck simulator, essentially, is what it is, along with some pretty decent story. But I don't know. There's been a small, add on to the story in the last few days, which is the internet, the collective, tracked down who they assume to be the lead facial animator for Mass Effect Andromeda, identified her as a cosplayer, and it looked like that someone tracked her down on LinkedIn as well and saw that she didn't seem to have that much experience, and then a whole bunch of people started going after her. So Yeah, I mean that's not on. That's
No.
obviously that's pretty logic. That's the logical conclusion when it comes to the internet, really. But that's ridiculous. Like no one deserves that to have. When death threats and stuff came out to Sean Murray, No Man's Sky, that's just stupid. Like you can't do that.
At the end of the day, it's a fucking video game.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Life goes on, guys.
Yeah. That's amazing. It makes me really sad. Yeah.
It harks back to I think it was before we started doing this, which was Gamergate, which Reagan, I'm not sure if you were familiar with at the time when it happened, which was just this insane thing that sort of embroiled sexism and chauvinism and all sorts of stuff into one big lovely concoction. And then all gamers kind of got associated with just that for a while, and it ruined the good naming, the game name that had been built up for a wee while after. Once people learned that it wasn't just Call of Duty that everyone plays, and games started to get recognized as art, and that had been going on for a while with things like That Dragon Cancer and Limbo and things like that. And then Gamergate happened and pretty much ruined all that goodwill. So I'm really hoping that we don't head back there, because that was a absolute shit show. And I don't want to be a part of that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll be keeping an eye on Mass Effect Andromeda comes out tomorrow, actually. So we'll be able to see. We'll be able to see what the reviews.
Are you picking it up, Balthazar?
Not day one.
No.
I'm gonna wait. I'm not even waiting because of this news. If I had the money, I would be getting it day one anyway, despite the news, because I want it. It's just because I bought a Switch. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Sitting back.
I'm sort of tossing it up. Hey. I'm thinking about getting it. Yeah.
Thinking about it? Yeah. Nice.
Just because I didn't get a Switch, and it's either kind of hold out until I can afford a Switch, which is going to be a while away, or just continue to enjoy what I have. And maybe there's a lesson there.
Nice. Well, I'm just gonna ask you guys. Let's put down some bets. Let's make this a little interesting.
Get the money on the table.
Yeah. Well, theoretically, I mean, we could do real money, but I've just spent $30 on Amiibo, so got to tighten those purse strings a wee bit. What do you guys think the Metacritic score or OpenCritic score is going to be for this game? Let's go with Metacritic. It's the one everyone knows.
So out of 100.
Out of 100. What do you guys think?
Just drop, like, if you were to say what would be the average. What do we think the average score based on critic reviews would be? I'd do it much more favorably. But if you're just saying the general Metacritic score, which is going to be affected by user reviews as well, who are all going to give it 0 out of 10 without even playing it.
That's a good point, actually. Okay, maybe not. Let's not do Metacritic, because I didn't even think about that. People just go on there to troll. Yeah. OpenCritic is good. I actually prefer OpenCritic myself to Metacritic. So let's go with OpenCritic. What do you guys think the average
is that out of 100 on OpenCritic?
I believe it is. Yeah, it's out of 100.
I'm going to say it's 82.
82. Okay.
Just above 8. I think when we're just talking about critics who, yes, will dock points for the bad animations and bad facials, but if the game itself is still solid, we'll judge it on that merit.
Yeah.
I think we're still looking at a relatively favorably scoring game.
I think you're right. And 82 is probably a pretty good spot for it. I don't want to go higher than that. I don't want to try and highball you there. So
you don't want to Price is Right 'em and go 83?
No, I don't.
Or 81?
Nah. I think I'm going to go lower.
Okay.
And I'm going to go 76.
Ooh, man. No one's getting bonuses at BioWare.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know. I think, especially under the light of all of the awesome games we've had thus far this year, and games where, Horizon's facial animations are great. Maybe not quite Uncharted level, but
or Witcher 3.
Yeah, it's still really good. So I'm gonna err on that side, and I've heard that the story is gonna potentially be a little iffy as well. So we'll see.
76, 82. Well, I'm going to go the highest of us all then. I'm going to go 85.
85. So nice.
I think it's going to catch people off guard with how, it's not looking good at the moment. I think it's going to be better than people think it is.
Yeah, I hope you're right. This is again based on the open critic score. So critics, I'm still personally hoping for a 9. Like I still believe it. I still want to believe it's going to be a 9.
You David Duchovny.
It's not going to be a 10. Like, just from what we have seen of the facial animations, there's too much there for it to still be, you know. Like, I talked about in my Zelda review how I can overlook technical issues if the rest of the game is so solid. But this is different. You know, this isn't frame dips that can be overlooked. This is every time you have an interaction with another character, it looks bad, and that is game breaking. I'm still hoping for 9. I still believe that is going to be the only thing wrong with it. That it's still going to be good fun to play, that the story may not be, you know, Horizon quality of writing and, you know, the kind of payoff and everything like that, but it's still going to be an enjoyable story, you know, like a space pirate story, effectively, of run and gun and fun and bum and
you should write back in the box quotes.
I still believe that the facial animations will be the only thing wrong with it, because I haven't seen anything to indicate otherwise so far.
The gameplay itself looks good. I'll put that out there.
It looks kind of fun. I'll be intrigued if there's the Mako from Mass Effect 1 where you get to bounce around on planets. Hopefully they haven't fixed those physics, because I had a great time with that vehicle. Bouncing around like it's made of rubber. So we've got I'm 85, Balthazar's 82, Reagan 76.
Let's check in on that at the next pod and we'll see how we're going.
We will. I'll have those results next time we do a podcast. So let's move on to a wee bit of news. I mean, that was kind of news, the Mass Effect Andromeda stuff, but it was more, I wanted to initiate more of a roundtable around that more than just sort of, this has happened. The first thing on the agenda here, which is not, it may sound like a slight against 1-2-Switch. It's not. It's actually kind of heartwarming. Looks like 1-2-Switch is great for blind people.
Interesting.
Blind people are having a great time with it.
It's funny because that was one of the complaints. Was that like you don't need a screen for it?
That was my complaint, because I just didn't really understand what the hell this game is, and it's still not. It doesn't seem amazing, to be honest. But it's cool that it's appealing to that demographic. So the idea is that because it uses sound cues more than anything, blind and sort of visually impaired people are able to have a lot of fun with it. And there's some quotes from people who are saying, I haven't been able to enjoy a Nintendo game ever until this one, because can't see anything, and Nintendo games are a feast for the eyes. So that's kind of cool. I mean, 1-2-Switch is actually serving a purpose, which is good, because otherwise it just looks like some sort of weird knockoff DVD that you'd find in the bargain bin.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure that will still happen eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of cool that it's carved itself a niche. I wonder if maybe it will inspire Nintendo to think about how their console might be good for that respect a little more. Like
accessibility wise kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. With their HD rumble and all that kind of thing.
True. Yeah, that might be cool. Blind people might love the counting the, what is it, ice cubes or something like that. Is that what it was?
Yeah, counting or dice or something. Yeah, just counting something in the controller.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's it's a game that wasn't going to find an audience really at all. So I'm glad it's being used for some sort of purpose there. So that's all I really have to say about that. It's pretty cool. Good on you, Nintendo. Keep doing that. Keep making weird ass games that eventually get used for something for good. The next item on the agenda is quite dear to my heart, which is that the co-founder of Naughty Dog, Christophe Balestra, has left Naughty Dog. He was there since Crash Bandicoot, or I suppose since they had a different name before Naughty Dog, and I can't remember what it was. He's gone, he's just taken off. He said, "Yep, I've got enough to retire, and I'm buggering off."
And I'm done, skis. Yeah,
he's done. He's left behind him a hell of a legacy, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So it didn't sound like, because there must have been some kind of release that he's done to tell everyone about this.
Yep.
And you've read it?
I read it. Yeah. There's definitely there's nothing that would make me suspicious. I mean, he can't really get pushed out. I don't think Naughty Dog is publicly traded or anything like that. So there's no investors they have to I mean, they're owned by Sony, I guess, so that's their master. But no, it just seems like a really heartfelt kind of goodbye from
interesting.
him.
Yeah, so he must have just decided that was kind of the time for him,
Yeah.
It's pleasing to know that it wasn't sort of, I don't know, maybe something bad had happened in his life or something like that, but it sounds like that's not necessarily the case. So
no, I think he's just made a crap ton of cash, and he's wanting to live it up for the remainder of his days, kind of thing. Maybe actually play some games as opposed to just manning a business.
Yeah, totally. No, that's
pretty awesome. He's left the company. Is now Evan Wells is the other co-president, and I assume they'll, I don't know, how does that even work? Does someone else get promoted to partner or something? I don't really know how this business sort of stuff works.
Do you have any thoughts on, because do you know much about how, like, what kind of impact he had on the development of games and things, or was he much of a creative kind of person as far as Naughty Dog games go?
Not too sure, I'm afraid, Reagan. It seems like because I've watched a documentary on it, and him and Evan, founded this thing in their garage and started working on these games for Atari, or it might even be before that, the ZX Spectrum or something like that. So they've been there since the beginning, and so I assume all their ideas have sort of come into the games such as Crash and Jak and Daxter and Uncharted and Last of Us sort of thing. So they must have at least had some sort of impact. I know Druckmann and Bruce Straley, Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley, are the sort of ones known to be associated with Uncharted and The Last of Us and Jak and Daxter and stuff like that. But I would assume that the co-president had some sort of say.
Yeah, you would imagine so, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, well, even if he was just like, well, what about a Bandicoot? Maybe they had like a fox or a squirrel or something at the start, and old Christoph was just like, what this weird little marsupial from Australia, let's get that go.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how, or if that has any kind of impact on Naughty Dog as they do their thing.
Yeah. I think the next thing is Last of Us 2, I guess. Actually, no, Uncharted Lost Legacy will be before that. The Uncharted sort of standalone DLC or expansion, I don't know what you call it, but that'll be coming out before the end of the year. So yeah, pretty good. And good luck to old Christoph. He's he's helmed a incredibly successful and dear to my heart part of gaming. So good on him.
Good job.
The final piece of news that we have is Sleeping Dogs, which I've pumped before, which is a great Wii game. It was going to be true crime. Hong Kong got dumped and got picked up, turned into Sleeping Dogs. It's being made into a movie. Did not see this coming. I mean, it's pretty generic plot. It's just sort of guy born in Hong Kong goes to America, then comes back to Hong Kong, and now he's embroiled in a big crime. He's undercover cop in a triad.
It feels very kind of like 90s action movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Like those John Woo films, like Hard Boiled or like Rush Hour. Like
exactly.
But interesting. They've cast Donnie Yen as Wei Shen, who's the main dude in Sleeping Dogs. Donnie Yen, most recently known for his he's the blind guy in Rogue One.
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah.
The guy who kicks ass in Rogue One. So I don't know. That's interesting. Is this going to be the video game movie to, we said that about Assassin's Creed. I never had any hope for Assassin's Creed, but is this going to be the video game movie to actually put video game movies on the map?
I don't think so.
In a good way. No, you don't think so? Not confident, Greg?
Maybe if it's... it could work as it's just an action movie and it's not necessarily pushed too hard as something that's based on a video game.
Yeah, but then it's not putting video game movies on the map. It's too generic. This movie, even if it's a big success, isn't going to put video game movies on the map because it's not a movie that people are going to go into. People going to watch this movie who like Chinese kung fu movies and not know it's based on a video game, and if they enjoy it, they won't be like, wow, I should watch more movies about video games, because they don't know this one was about a video game.
Yeah, true.
Warcraft
it's a pretty action, generic action plot.
It's a good movie.
Did you enjoyed
I
Warcraft?
liked it. Yeah, it was good. Like the plot was contrived as fuck, and it was like it didn't have a whole lot to do with the current Warcraft universe as it stands now, but visually that was a phenomenal movie, like a phenomenal interpretation of the Warcraft universe in a live action film. That movie, while not necessarily your classic success of a movie in terms of, it didn't do gangbusters on opening weekend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was pretty well received by gamers and non-gamers alike. I remember when I was playing back from Japan, I saw some 80-year-old woman watching it on the plane. She was legitimately watching the whole movie, the whole way through. She's
probably a huge WoW fan.
And she had to stop because the plane landed and the screens turned off and the movie was near the end. She complained to the flight attendant and asked if he could turn it back on for her.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Cool.
She's probably the original Leroy Jenkins. I mean, that game's pretty old now. Eh?
Yeah.
I'd say video game movies already have a hope. There are enough coming out that are decent. It's just every now and again you get a fucking Assassin's Creed, which throws it back another 10 years.
Bossbender was okay.
Yeah, you watched that, didn't you, Reagan?
I did watch it, yeah. It shone in my eyes and I consumed it.
It was unavoidable.
Yeah. It was okay. It wasn't awful. It just yeah.
Except for the whole, instead of lying down in an animus bed, he was hooked to a crane doing backflips.
A weird one-man show, interpretive dance thing going on.
It would have been kind of boring if he was just convulsing on a table, though. You know. Or just lying there. Yeah.
Speaking of, have you guys ever seen any other... What are other good video game movies? Because I'm struggling to think of any.
It depends on if you're just talking live action or if kind of purely CG and stuff. Because
live action. Because, I don't really count.
Because Kingsglaive was fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
The Final Fantasy 15 movie, and also Advent Children as well, the Final Fantasy 7 one. But they were both fully animated, but they were both bloody good movies. So, Square Enix can make a
does
good
not have a good
Final
history.
Fantasy movie. Live action, though, no. Warcraft is the only one I can think of that I enjoyed.
Yeah, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time with Jake Gyllenhaal. Not terrible, but really boring. Really boring.
What was that one
movie.
I watched that was, again, not a great movie, but I feel like would have been better were it based on a video game? It was a Disney movie about a pirate who went to space.
Wow, that
or something.
Amazing.
He wasn't. I think he was actually just
about.
a fucking explorer or something from the 1800s who ended up in space, and it was basically another Avatar type movie.
It's not Robinson Crusoe in space or anything like that?
No. But I'm not going to remember what it's called at all. I'm pretty sure it's just his name. The movie is just the name of the dude who ends up in the future.
Oh, John Carter?
That's it, yeah.
Oh, yep.
That movie was not a video game movie, but that feels like were it based on a video game, it would have been a better movie and a good video game movie.
Thanks for that. That point.
Reagan, have you got
it's 8 p.m. and I've worked a 10-hour shift.
It's sort of all right.
Nothing's jumping to mind, to be totally honest. There
was that Halo movie, the live-action Halo movie. I never watched it. It was on Netflix.
That was in development hell. And
there's there's one on Netflix. There's a live-action Halo movie on Netflix. I've not watched it yet.
It's a TV series, isn't
it might be a TV series that they've condensed into one thing and presented as a movie. I've not bothered to watch it yet, but there's a Halo thing presented as a movie on Netflix. Maybe I should watch that, and then next week I'll say if it was good or not.
I think it's Halo Nightfall or something Fall anyway. Yeah, I think it's a TV series. Spielberg had some sort of involvement with it, but I'm not 100% on it.
And none of us have watched it?
What now?
None of us watched it. Spielberg was involved, and it was a Halo thing, and none of us have watched it.
I don't know. I kind of went off the idea after the Halo movie fell by the wayside. It was just kind of maybe that was when I fell out of love with Halo. I'm not too sure. That was after I loved them all up until Halo 4, and then I was not a fan anymore because it turned into Call of Duty. But that sort of nearly brings us to the end of the show. We've got one more section, as per usual, that we usually go over, which is a top 10. Balthazar, you are up, man. What's your top 10 you're going to be talking about this week?
So, my top 10 for this week is a Platinum game, because I've been playing NieR. So I've been thinking about Platinum games.
Yeah.
And it's actually the first Platinum game I played, so in a way it introduced me to them as a developer and made me love what they do, and that is Vanquish, which is a Sega-published game that was on the PS3 and probably the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And this was a very fast-paced run-and-gun shooter in which you were I forget his name. I think your name might have been Sam or something.
Sam.
It is Sam Gideon. What a white name, Sam Gideon. Also, though,
straight from the Isles.
Now that I've remembered his name is Sam, I want to say Sam in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance may be based off him appearance-wise, because I seem to recall he looks like him.
Paying homage to themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, you play as Sam Gideon. You're a DARPA agent, and you're basically in this robotic suit which has thrusters on the heels and the wrists of it, I believe. So you can kind of drop down on the floor and activate them to just slide around the place at ridiculously fast pace, and just shooting all the while. And being a Platinum game, it was very focused on tight gunplay, the combat always being the thing that shines the most. And as usual, they turned it into kind of a spectacle shooter by just having ridiculously massive boss fights against these huge robot mechs. I mean, essentially at the time, the reason why I picked up this game off the shelf, I ended up, I think, getting it really cheaply. I got it for like, $25 or something pre-owned. Because I had no idea what it was, and it didn't get particularly good reviews, I don't think. I just always thought it looked really cool. And the reason why I thought it looked cool was because it looked like it looked like a super action-packed version of Metal Gear Solid. You were fighting these really cool giant robots with buzzsaws and rail guns and, all this other stuff. And it was essentially the part of Metal Gear Solid that I always wanted to exist but never did. The part where you actually went one-on-one against these things in a non-top-down, very inventory managed attack manner kind of thing, where you actually just get to go head-to-head with these things. And that's what Vanquish was. It satisfied that need and introduced me to Platinum as a developer. And I have loved pretty much every single game they've made ever since. So that's one of the reasons why this is on my top 10. It introduced me to a genre and a developer that I now hold. I mean, I really enjoy the genre, but Platinum is my favorite developer. They're up there as, absolutely, unequivocally my favorite. So Vanquish is on my list for introducing me to them. And like I said, kind of filling that niche that as yet didn't exist, of super fast-paced gunplay, fighting massive fucking robots, and just looking badass while you do it. I mean, this is a game which I played the demo of before I picked it up, and the demo has you slide boosting up a wall, jumping off it onto a nuclear missile, and then sliding down the missile whilst using your weight to shift its flight path to direct it back into the robot that shot it at you. Like, it's utterly ridiculous, and it's freaking awesome.
That sounds amazing. Oh, here's something interesting. I'm just looking at the game. It's designed by Shinji Mikami, he's the Resident Evil guy.
That's really interesting because it's so different to a Resident Evil.
He actually designed Vanquish. So interesting. He's got his hands in a bunch of pies over the years.
And they're all doing pretty well for him.
Yeah. He did Dino Crisis as well, which is a great game. But no, that's awesome, man. Anything else to say on Vanquish?
Just pick it up. It's one of those games that you're not going to regret. The price that you'll see it for these days, if you see it somewhere, it's going to be in a bargain bin, either, a 2 for something deal or a, games under $20 or something like that. So absolutely, if you do happen to see this game floating around, pick it up. It's well worth it, as is literally anything by Platinum. Except maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. I haven't played that one. I don't. I don't recommend
TMNT
it purely because I haven't played it.
Unceremoniously removed from production.
Yeah.
Available anywhere. No, that's very cool, man. Very cool. So we'll have Reagan. I believe you are next week. Your next top 10. All right.
Yep,
it's me. Pretty sure it's you. Yeah. Sweet. So that's cool. I'll just go over a few more. I'll just reiterate the releases that we've got for the rest of the month before we take off for another podcast here. So we still have Mass Effect Andromeda coming out tomorrow. We've got Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 Remix, which is on the 28th. We've got Parappa the Rapper Remastered. And we've got Thimbleweed Park. So there's still about 1, 2, 3, 4 reasonably, hopefully, solid releases coming out there. So the month is definitely not over. So we've got a lot to look forward to.
Definitely not.
No. So thank you, everyone, for joining us as per usual. if you want to head along to our YouTube channel, we have all our streams that we've done. We'd usually do them on Twitch now, and I'll move them over to YouTube pretty much as soon as we finish them. So you can check us out on twitch.tv/Overcast Gamer. We stream every Friday night. At the moment, it's from 8 to 10 p.m., but that could be subject to change. We'll discuss that. But at the moment, yeah, just tune in 8, 10 p.m. New Zealand time, and youtube.com/Overcast Gamer. So check us out, and we're on all the social medias and everything like that. And any parting words there, guys?
Have a good fortnight.
Yeah.
And play some games. Balthazar?
My final words are to just look at Reagan and say, play some games. Because that was your sign-off, but you're not very good at it.
Play some games.
Play some
I'm
games.
loving it. Catch you later, guys.
Yeah.